High-speed police chases and wanton and reckless driving on the part of police kill hundreds of people, including law enforcement officials, alleged criminals, as well as innocent civilians every year in the United States. While authorities are engaged in high-speed police chases or pursuits, there can be complete disregard for the safety of other drivers as officers continue the chase well after the danger outweighs the need to apprehend the suspect. More people in the United States are killed by high-speed pursuits and wanton and reckless driving by the police than they are by police firearms. And yet these wrongful deaths from car accidents will likely continue year after year. That is why 2/3 of those injured or killed in fatal car accidents stemming from police chases or pursuits are innocent drivers and pedestrians that have nothing to do with the chase. In this insider exclusive investigative special, we go behind the headlines in Justice in America, Melvin Lee's story, to visit with Bob Genis at Sonin Genis Law Firm as we take you inside today's legal system, examining Bob's strategies and his clients' thoughts, and in vivid detail, showing you the often heartbreaking stories of cases like his client Melvin Lee, for whom Bob successfully won a $28 million verdict at trial. These victims could be you or me one day, and if you are so unlucky, you will quickly find out that justice in America is a hard-won battle where very few defendants ever do the right thing, and you need experienced and passionate trial lawyers like Bob Genis, founder of the Sonin Genis Law Firm, who wage these battles with their own financial resources to get their clients justice. This is the Insider Exclusive, live from New York. It is my great pleasure to introduce Bob Genis to the show. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Hi, thank you.
How's everything here in New York?
Terrific.
Yeah. Tell our audience a little bit about your law firm and the type of practice that you have and have done over the years.
Our law firm is Sonin Genis. We've been in practice. Our office is in the Bronx. We chose the Bronx for a reason. We've stayed in the Bronx for a reason. We love the Bronx. We love the people of the Bronx. Our practice focuses on people who are either catastrophically injured or have died as a result of negligence or malpractice. We've tried cases in 7 states, but we try to stay in New York State where possible.
Besides practicing law, you get involved in a lot of civic and community activities, don't you? What are they?
Well, a lot of the things I do are still kind of law-related, but one of the civic things I like to do is there's this entity called Happiness is Camping, and it was the first of its kind in the country, and it's designed solely for children with cancer so that they can go and have like a normal summer and be with other kids like them. The doctors and nurses volunteer their time, and I do some volunteer work there. It's in Blairstown, New Jersey, and it's a great cause.
Today, Bob, we're here talking about your client, Melvin Lee. Tell our audience a little bit about this case.
This is what's called a hot pursuit or reckless police chase case. Here the police violated all proper procedures in what they did. What happened was you had police officers on an undercover buy and bust operation in the South Bronx. So they don't look like cops. They're dressed plain clothes, they're looking kind of scruffy, and they're driving an unmarked vehicle. What they're doing is they're claiming that they're in this van looking for drug dealers. Mr. Gonzalez is just a regular guy on his way home from work driving his van. The police claim that Mr. Gonzalez, while passing their vehicle, clipped their side view mirror. He says it didn't happen. They now start to go after him. He sees his car on his tail following him. They look scary. He picks up the pace. He goes faster. They pick up the pace. He goes faster yet. They go faster yet. He runs a stop sign. They run a stop sign, and so on. He keeps going through stop signs and red lights, and this is evolving into now a high-speed pursuit. Right. They're going 50 miles an hour through city streets in New York City by residential homes. This happens in front of an elementary school.
What time of day was it?
This is in the morning, okay? And school is in session. You have kids going to school, and what happens is as they're going, as Mr. Gonzalez is on his way frantically to a police precinct with his unmarked vehicle hot on his tail, Poor Melvin Lee was a 77-year-old man just going across the street to go to the bank. As he's in the crosswalk with the walk sign in his favor, he's halfway across when high-speed van being chased by the police plows into him. He goes flying up in the air, hits the ground. Catastrophic injuries to Melvin Lee, all because the police failed to follow proper police procedures.
And what were those proper police procedures? Because as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, what would I do in this situation where I had an unmarked police car? I don't know they're cops. They haven't identified their cops, and they're chasing me through the streets. I'm worried about my own safety, my own security, and I understand that the person they were chasing was headed towards a police station, right? Yeah. So what are these procedures that undercover cops have to follow so that the person they're chasing knows that they are police?
Okay, there's two issues here. A, with the undercover. The undercover has what's called a red bubble light. Yeah. And this is a light that they could either put on the roof or on the dashboard.
We see it on TV all the time.
Exactly. So they could have done that. They did not do that.
Why didn't they?
Well, they actually were trying to testify that they did. However, the cops admitted that nobody saw the bubble light, and the one officer who claimed that they did have the bubble light, the police took all these photos afterwards. And I'm looking at the photos, and I showed the officer, can you please show me in any of these photos the red bubble light? And it's not there. So I said, let me see if I get this straight. A man has been seriously injured. You know that there's an investigation. The police want to get to the bottom of what happened. They're taking pictures. So did you say to the police investigative unit taking pictures, whatever you do, make sure you take a picture that does not show the bubble light. Don't take any pictures at all with the bubble light. Right. Come on, that's absurd.
So there wasn't one in the car?
Well, they had one, they didn't use it. Okay? So I had another officer concede that when you say something under oath and it's not true, that's called perjury. Right. And he admitted he committed perjury.
Right. And nothing happens to him.
Not a thing. In fact, one of the officers, the main officer here, was the second most sued police officer in the city of New York. The jury did not even know that fact.
And you can't bring that into the trial.
Correct.
Okay.
So, and I did not.
You know, when people judge another person's character, they look at everything they know. Why in the legal system are you not allowed to bring that in, especially in this case?
Because it can be too prejudicial. And
it's the truth. Is the truth prejudicial?
Well, a judge might say sometimes it is. Sometimes it might be.
Because that's the lesson to be learned from this, right? From what happens.
That's why I teach evidence to win. How to get the truth in evidence or how to keep bad truth out of evidence.
Now, some of the legal strategies that you used to successfully win this case, and you got a verdict of $28 million, which we'll get into later. But what were some of the strategies you employed to win this case?
Well, the police in New York City, as in most places, have written procedures. Yeah. I made a huge poster out of the procedures and went step by step how the officers violated and chose to violate these safety procedures. So, for example, when you institute a chase, first of all, let's back up. What did these cops do? They abandoned their fellow officers doing buy and bust operations. For what? At best, because somebody clipped their side view mirror. They did not ask for permission from their supervisor to engage on this chase. They were supposed to call it in as they were doing the chase because you're excited, your adrenaline's flowing. Maybe you're not thinking clearly, but that's why you've gotten a dispatcher there to say, no, don't do this. We'll have other cars take action. But they did not radio it in. They did not call what was going on. They did not get instructions. They just violated the steps every step along the way.
So the legal issues you had to prove in this case were what?
Reckless disregard, negligence when the police are involved in a police vehicle pursuit. Negligence is not enough. There's no question they were negligent, but I have to show it is reckless disregard, much higher standard. Their judgment at the time, they were allowed to have bad judgment. So we had to show that they were reckless under these circumstances.
What were some of the injuries to Melvin Lee?
Melvin Lee's body was badly injured. His right shoulder, his humerus, it was shattered. His pelvis was shattered. His leg, the tibia was shattered.
And he's 77 years old at the time.
Yes, and he was still working. Yeah. And he played ping pong. He was an active table tennis player. He used to golf. He was an active man, Melvin Lee. And his body from head to toe was damaged. He had to have catheters placed in him, which were painful. He got terrible bed sores. that had to be what's called debrided or cut out. It really was a horrible thing.
Tell us about the issue of reasonableness of the Fourth Amendment.
The U.S. Supreme Court in the past year or so gave a really bad decision on how it affects police pursuits. So I was viewing this more as a negligence case or a reckless disregard case, as opposed to a civil rights constitutional case, because of a bad U.S. Supreme Court decision on this.
Yeah. So anybody watching this show, if they find themselves in an unfortunate circumstance where they're being chased by an unmarked car, they don't know it's police, what should they do?
If you have a cell phone, call 911.
And say,
this car is following me. I'm afraid somebody's trying to kill me. Where you are, where you're going, your license plate, give all the information so that the police know about it. Now, even had they done that in this case, because the police were not on the radios, it might not have mattered. Because the police plaza, the headquarters, did not know that these guys were chasing this car.
when you take on a police case, they're difficult because there's all kinds of protections for the police, right? What do you look at when someone comes to you with a particular case like this? What do you look at? You're looking at the facts, but what else are you looking at?
Well, in addition to being a righteous case, that you don't want this to happen to somebody else, are the injuries significant? Because I don't really take cases unless we have very significant injuries where this person has been harmed for the rest of their life.
Right. And that makes it a righteous case.
Yes.
Because these are time intensive. And cost a lot of money. When you file a case like this, how long did it take to get to the jury?
It took years.
Okay.
Especially
because there's delays.
There are delays.
Intentional delays.
Definitely by the municipalities. They always stall and delay.
Because they know they'll have to pay some money maybe, and the longer they wait, like an insurance company, the better off they are.
Time is on their side. What if Melvin Lee had died? Yeah. What if he couldn't testify anymore? I mean, time is on their side.
When you're picking a jury in police cases, what do you look for in the jurors, potential jurors?
In a police case, as in any case, I do careful questioning of the jurors to see their attitudes, their feelings, their opinions.
Like what question would you ask?
Well, I'd ask a number of different questions. First of all, right off the bat, I'd want to know what their feelings are about police. Some people love them, some people hate them. Some people think they're always wrong, some people think they're always right. So some attitudinal questions right off the bat on police.
But jurors don't always tell the truth, do they?
They don't, but sometimes they do. Yeah. And you're also watching, even if somebody's not being truthful, what's their body language? Yeah. Do you think they're being truthful with you or not? But you go, I mean, that's part of the skill of the lawyers doing all this and asking other attitudinal questions that maybe they don't see immediately, the point of the question, how it relates to your case. Yeah. And I'll ask other questions. For example, what do you think you have a right to expect from the police that are pursuing you?
Now, I understand that you teach a lot of continuing legal education classes. One of them is on evidence and what to consider and what to bring into the trial, et cetera. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you ended up with a $28 million verdict. And that $28 million verdict was awarded by a jury of Melvin Lee's peers, correct?
Yes.
The judge reduced it, did he not?
He reduced it to $5 million.
And why did he reduce it to $5 million?
The judge felt that it was excessive based mainly on his age. And the judge looks to other cases in New York State. Yeah. In New York, the judges are more likely to reduce a verdict than they are in other states. Other states, the verdict seems to be more sacrosanct.
Because the verdicts aren't as large generally as in New York, right?
Depends on the case.
Yeah.
You know, a heavy case, a large case, if somebody is catastrophically injured, no matter where you are, yeah, that's a major case.
Right. Now, when they reduced it to $5 million, that was it. It was paid. $5 million?
Because then Melvin Lee decided to agree to accept that. We did not have to. We could have said, no, we don't want to accept the $5 million.
But then you run into another problem, the appeals court.
The appeals, you don't know, A, what an appellate court will do. There's the cost of the appeals and the time. Melvin was already 83 years old at this point. You know, he wanted to make sure he got to enjoy the money or use it for medical care.
Well, congratulations on the case, and I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. You can get more information about our guest and the issues at insiderexclusive.com.